What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So today marks the 1 year anniversary of me signing up and starting to use Trading212. So today I thought it'd be fitting to make a video on 3 pros and 3 cons of using this platform, and if I'm going to continue to use Trading212 going forward. So with all that being said, let's dive right on over to Trading212. So just to put a few things into perspective before looking at the pros and cons. So it was about 14 months ago at this stage when I started investing. The first 2 months of this was on DEGIRO, which is another European discount broker. Now again, I can't fault that brokerage at all, but it has a few cons that Trading212 actually rectifies, hence why I started to move over. And to be honest, when I started investing, I was following the crowd, which I wouldn't recommend at all. But a lot of people were seeming to use Trading212, so I decided to give it a go. And ever since the last 12 months, I have been using this platform, where we now have about €10,845 overall in the account, and are about €1,871 in this portfolio at this present time. So let's get straight into the pros. Now again, this is not an exhaustive list by any stretch of imagination. There's a lot more pros, but the main 3, in my opinion, firstly, is fractional shares. Now again, I mentioned earlier, DEGIRO had a few cons. One of these was the ability not to be able to buy fractional shares, which as a new investor with little capital is a huge kind of factor in my opinion. And Trading212 certainly rectified that. Now I know a lot of brokers kind of have followed suit since over the last year and do offer fractional shares. So as a beginner investor, or even a more experienced investor with little capital, I would recommend you getting a broker with fractional shares. Again, you're not going to be able to afford a full share of Amazon that's over $3,000 all at once. You don't want to use all of your capital in one stock. So, for example, you can even see here, we have about 0.09 of a share, which equates to about €272. So again, this was really a great feature in my opinion, one that I actually wasn't aware of when I started investing, that you could buy fractional shares. But even my style of investing, dollar cost averaging, it makes a huge benefit. Because again, for example, I'm not going to have $3,000 or so sitting on the sideline just invest in one stock. So I can tip away. You can buy any amount of shares, which you'll have a look at right now. So just as a brief example, again using Amazon, at this moment in time it's trading at about $3,332. Again, new investors, I think I started off with about €200 or €300 at the start. So again, $3,300 was completely out of my price range. And even if you did have $3,300, you don't want to put it all into one stock. You need to diversify. So this was really handy in terms of diversification and dollar cost averaging in my own personal investing, which I really do feel made all the difference in making that 22% profit. So even as an example here, you can see, again, this you can change this to whatever you like, but for this example, I put down 1/10 of a share. You can see that it's still €281, which still is quite a lot of money to most people. But again, you can get 0.001 of a share, you get 10 shares, 20 shares, etc. But again, the main pro here is that you can buy fractional shares. And just one final point on this pro before we jump on to pro 2 and 3 is that it really does make investing accessible to all walks of life, something I really encourage everyone to invest in, no matter how much capital you have at your disposal. You could have €10 or €10 million, but again, the main purpose here is to start investing and it starts to compound over time. So again, these kind of fractional shares really make everything really accessible to all aspects of life, no matter how much experience you have as well. So again, this is definitely one of the main pros of using Trading212. So the second pro is the ability to have the pie feature, again to group your stocks into different allocations. For example, I use this feature to group stocks into different sectors. Now, unlike the fractional shares where a lot of brokerages are using this these days, pie feature is something that made Trading212 stand alone at that time, and again, it's a very great feature in my opinion. It's not just for organizing your stocks into different pies. There's also another aspect that they've added on, again, which is really revolutionizing how you can trade, and especially for younger investors, that there's a social aspect where you can share pies, etc., which again is a complete game changer and of huge benefit for new investors. So not only is the socializing aspect of these pie features great for new investors to give them ideas. Now again, you shouldn't copy any other investor, but it definitely opens up opportunities in terms of giving you options to invest and different ideas from other kind of well-known established traders. So that's great for one aspect, and that's probably one pro here. But another one for this pie feature is that there's so many customizable options. For example, the auto or manual invest. Now, as you know, I dollar cost average, so I manually invest most of my stocks. But again, if you want to keep the kind of emotions out of trading, and even if you don't have the time, a lot of people don't have the time to be looking at stocks day in, day out. So they kind of set up an auto invest feature and invest a set amount of capital set by them themselves each week, month, every fortnight, etc. Again, you predetermine all of these aspects and what stocks you want to invest in. And you can even put the weighting, for example, if you want two stocks, PepsiCo and Coca-Cola as an example, you don't have to invest 50-50, you could do 70-30, 60-40, whichever way you see fit. So, and you can have as many stocks within that pie as you wish as well. So again, it really does open up avenues for every style of investor. For example, brand new investors, by being able to customize different pies and share pies, which will help people along, and also by having the auto invest feature, which will give the kind of hands-off approach investors great opportunities to invest still. And the third pro is the range of stocks, ease of use, and customization. Again, that's probably more than one pro, but you could probably have 5 to 10 different pros for this platform, just like any other platform, I guess. But again, you can even see here on the left the range of stocks, all from these different countries. For example, on the Giro, you were kind of limited in some aspects. So for a discount broker like Trading212, there's great opportunities to invest in the main markets around the world and into ETFs as well, which is below on the screen here. But again, there's other subsectors that you can kind of look into, which makes it a lot easier to find stocks. For example, most popular, or if you want to go to dividend or growth routes, or high volatility / low volatility, speculative, etc. So again, I think it's very handy to get ideas and bunks off each other, especially when there's different kind of subcategories that are already set up by Trading212. Now again, also talking about customization, you can change a lot of things on Trading212 which you can't on a lot of other brokers. For example, on the Giro, it feels really old school. Now again, obviously customization to make your app look better won't make you more money at all. But again, for the newer kind of investors, I think it makes a big difference in terms of ease of use and navigating around screens. For example, you can change this to a dark screen or a light screen, which we have on now. But again, like that makes no difference in terms of your performance, but it makes all the difference in terms of being able to navigate and put things where you wish to make it easier to invest. Now, just kind of following on from customization, etc. There's also a very helpful tab here we can see highlighted in terms of videos for training. Now, they have videos ranging from all aspects of investing, everything for beginners all the way up to advanced investors, something that a lot of brokers kind of lack. And there's kind of a lot of videos here as well of how to, in terms of how to kind of set up your account, get navigating around the different screens. So if you are interested in this, just kind of go over to this highlighted section here and you'll find all videos to suit your needs. So again, this is a great feature, especially for beginner investors. And overall, kind of synopsis of the pros, Trading212 was a great broker to start with because again of the fractional shares, pie features, the social aspect, customization, etc. really makes a big difference for brand new investors that have little to no clue about investing. Now let's have a look at 3 cons. Now again, it was a lot harder to find cons than pros, which kind of shows that I do actually like this brokerage. But the first is the kind of fear of the unknown. Now again, this article was dated back in January, so again it was about 6 months ago or even 7 months ago at this stage. How time flies, I know. But again, there was a lot of kind of confusion and kind of anxious people waiting on news from Trading212 because they put a halt to new investors. Now I found that very hard to kind of understand and find logic behind it. That'd be like if you had a corner shop and there's a big queue out the door that you just close your door and say no one else is allowed in. If anything, you just hire new staff, etc., or even build a bigger premises to facilitate all of these new customers, because obviously that's the main, they're a business at the end of the day. They need customers to make money. So that's kind of why a lot of people started to panic, because they're wondering, was there something in the background that Trading212 were not telling us? But again, there hasn't been anything come to light as of yet. And again, I don't know, I haven't found any article suggest that has opened for new investors again. So I'd be very interested to know in the comment section below if you have opened an account with Trading212 over the last few weeks or even months, and how long it took you to actually get access to this platform. Because of all of these kind of new account closures or even the big delay in opening accounts, a lot of people start to panic, and my own kind of hypothesis or thesis at the time was that they were waiting to add additional fees. Now they have started to add small fees. Again, they are very small, I'm emphasizing that. But again, they could start to add up over time if they do start to introduce new fees. So a lot of people were suggesting that Trading212 were holding off new accounts because they were going to start adding in costs before adding these people on and signing contracts before signing up. But again, there's been no fruition of that, thankfully. But again, it doesn't make any sense, and there still hasn't been any quite a big statement or anything put out from Trading212. They were just saying that there was high kind of demand to open accounts. But again, if that's the case, you employ new people or more people and get the job done. I think that was just a bit of a cover up, so to speak. But again, the reason I don't have a whole lot of capital invested in Trading212, just under 11,000 at the moment, is because they will pay up to €20,000 to an investor if things go wrong. And we can also see at the bottom here, on the unlikely circumstance that Trading212 went insolvent, they have up to €1 million from Lloyds Bank as well. Now, I don't know if that €1 million is spread across all investors in terms of protection, or if that's for individual accounts. I highly doubt it's individual accounts. So for that case, I believe we're protected. Again, if you comment in the comment section below if I'm wrong here, but I believe you're only protected up to €20,000, which is still a lot of money, I know, and it's very, very unlikely that Trading212 will go bust. But again, as one of these kind of newer style kind of brokerages that are kind of free to use, you would always have that in the back of your mind that there is the possibility. For example, it's not one of these kind of high-end blue chip kind of brokerages that many people have used year in, year out. So that's kind of one cause of concern and why a lot of people kind of have stayed away from Trading212. Again, even if you want to use Trading212, you won't be able to sign up. So that's another kind of major problem, and the first con for using this broker. Now, the second con seems to be a bit of a quick fix, and it might just be my own kind of inner OCD coming out, but what I find very, very frustrating and something that kind of puts me off Trading212 in some respects in terms of selling stocks is that do not show your historical performance up here. For example, we can see at the moment I'm up €1,873 or just over 21.5%. Now, what's annoying is, for example, if I sold, for example, the top one here, we're down 20% in high tide. If I sold that stock, my overall return will go way up in terms of percentages because we're down 20% here. But again, what I'd like to see on a feature here that could easily be done, and I don't know why it hasn't been done because most people want this feature, is in terms of having a daily, weekly, kind of monthly and yearly or even historical kind of performance. It doesn't have to be that many. It could literally be your current performance and historical performance overall. This would be a lot handier in terms of when you're going about tax at the end of the year, if you have to pay capital gains tax. I know you can go into the historical performance sheet over here on the right, but again, it's a lot easier and kind of better to see, I believe, and something that's a quick fix that would really make the brokerage or even their homepage look a lot cleaner and neater is if you could have your current and historical performance on screen. Now, I'd also be very interested to know in the comment section below if you'd like this feature to be added to Trading212, and who knows, we might even send them an email to see if they come back. Again, I highly doubt they're going to even be looking at these style videos, but it'd be very interesting to see if they would reply and even kind of give a kind of reasoning behind why it's not already a feature. So comment below if you'd like to see this feature added to Trading212. So again, the third and final con is fees. Now, when I signed up to Trading212 originally, one of the main kind of pulls to the platform was the fact that it was completely and 100% free for everything you did. Now, on DeGiro at the time, there was commissions of about 50 cents a trade, etc. And for using different stock exchanges, there was a small fee. Again, tiny and minute in comparison to the other brokers. But Trading212 definitely kind of paved the way as well for completely free trading. Now, don't get me wrong, it's still extremely kind of light in terms of fees. But again, I can slowly see them creeping in. Thankfully, they haven't added new fees over the last few months. But again, there has been 2 fees added since I started investing last year. The first of these is a deposit fee of 0.7%. Now, I'm pretty sure in the UK you don't actually even have to pay this instant deposit fee because one of my subscribers has mentioned that before and even sent me screenshots to show that they didn't have to pay. So again, this might be outside of the UK. We can even see here no fees will be deposited over £2,000 or GBP in total. So maybe this only equates to non-GBP accounts. So once you deposit over €2,000, you have to pay this fee. Again, 0.7% is very, very small, even if you want instant deposit. And again, there is ways around this, so technically it probably isn't even a con because you can do your bank transfer, which will take 2 to 3 business days. So if you have patience and you can wait those 2 to 3 days, it's still completely free to deposit. Or if you want as well, another workaround would be to actually just have money on your cash at hand on your account, ready to take advantage, so you won't have to do any instant deposits. So again, that's the first of the 2 fees, the 0.7% deposit instant fee. Now, thankfully, at this moment in time, there is no withdrawal fees. I'm pretty sure the likes of eToro, etc. use a withdrawal fee of about €5. Again, I don't use that brokerage, but that's from what I've heard from word of mouth. But thankfully, Trading212 do not have withdrawal fees at this moment in time, which could change down the line. But again, the second fee they have introduced is the currency conversion charge of 0.15% since I started investing. So basically, your home currency, which for me is euro, if I buy any stock outside of this home currency, example GBP or USD, I will be subject to this charge of 0.15%. Now, this is pretty much a given. And I was surprised even when I started investing that there wasn't any charge, because Trading212 had to take the hit for all of these FX charges. So again, this is probably a fair enough fee to introduce. It's just kind of annoying that it wasn't there all the time and that they're starting to slowly introduce fees. And again, this kind of brings me back to the first con in terms of the fear of the unknown. You'd wonder, is there something, again, this is a business, so the business plan might have been to get as many customers on board as possible by luring people in with the free costs, etc., and no fees, and then slowly starting to introduce fees once you have a big customer base. Again, that's a no-brainer. You'd probably do the same thing yourself if you were using this as a business model. So again, I'm going to be very interested to see over the next few months if Trading212 have anything else up their sleeves in terms of fees, and if they're going to start leaving new investors, more investors start to join up again. So after 1 year of using Trading212, those are 3 pros and 3 cons that have come about since using this platform. Again, as stated, this is not an exhaustive list. You could probably have 10 pros and 10 cons for this broker or any other broker for that matter. But again, that was the 3 pros and 3 cons that kind of came to mind when making this video. I'd be very interested in the comment section below if you have any other pros or cons that you would have added to this list. I'd be very interested to see other people's kind of points of view, and if you believe these pros and these cons warrant top 3 positions. So I'd be very interested to see that in the comment section below. Thanks very much if you made it this far. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, and I will see you all in tomorrow's video.